Hey, it's Kathleen Woodhouse here, and I'm going live to help inspire women. We're going to answer questions and brainstorm ideas and get some inspiration so that you can be motivated in your business and make progress and feel supported. So, welcome everyone, and thanks for watching. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm going big and bold in my business, and I'm excited to have you here as well. Now, I didn't realize I couldn't switch it and can't see you all, which I can in Zoom. So if you could definitely um, be active in the chat so I can see your questions. That's the only way I'll be able to answer them, is if you're active and asking your questions so I can answer them for you live. So this is a little different than just a webinar where I'm giving you tons of information or sharing a PowerPoint. I want this to be something that is beneficial to you. So it's all about you and ask your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them with the advice that I have. I've been coaching for over 10 years. I started as a life coach, coaching women and helping to empower them as they were choosing their careers. And then I started career coaching. I coached at a local community college for 4 years. And then recently I was laid off and I went back into business for myself. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that as well. Just letting you know that I've been there. I know what it's like when you're trying to start your business and you're trying to make all your dreams come true. You know that you're meant for something big, but maybe, you're getting a little stressed or overwhelmed or feel all alone. So, that I just wanted to share, what I went through recently after being laid off. As I mentioned, I knew I wanted to go back into business for myself, and I knew there was much more for me, but I felt very alone, and I felt the loss of all the support and the friendships that I had. I had amazing coworkers. I know there's actually some that registered for this event as well. So, all the people that I worked with were so supportive of me. And when I went back, and started working from home and on my own business, and I was all alone. And so that was really hard, and I missed that support. So I started doing my own networking group. I started a Think and Grow Rich mastermind group, which I'll also share more of that a little bit later. But that was something that has really helped me to kind of make the final leap to really put myself out there. As many of you know, I'm great one-on-one. I love to have one-on-one conversations, small groups. I've done lots of networking, and I've created lots of workshops as well. And that's great, but social media and I have a pretty non-existent friendship. I spend most of my time reading on trainings, listening to podcasts and other things rather than scrolling through social media. So this here is a big challenge for me, and I know some of you want to do things like this as well. So I can see your chat, so I just want to say hello to some of the people who are saying hello to me. So hi Robin, thanks for coming. Hey Grace. Grace is great. I do have a podcast that I'm going to get out. Like I mentioned, I had a little setback, but Grace is one of the guests on my podcast that will be coming out soon. She's awesome. So thanks, Grace, for being here. Hey, Melinda. Melinda has been one of the biggest supports for me, so I want to give a shout out to Melinda. She's wonderful. She's a big part of HMP and does a lot of networking, so definitely connect with her. Hey, Carmen. Oh, my goodness. I love it. So thank you all for being here and for letting me know that you're here in the chat, because that's all I can see. I can't see you. So what are your biggest questions about business? What are you stuck with? What do you need help with? What are you wondering about? I'll answer what I can. So let me know what questions you have. This is live coaching and consulting, so I don't know what's going to happen here. We're just going to see who has a question. Thank you, Melinda. Well, while you're thinking of your questions, I'll just let you know some of the things that have helped me recently as far as actually getting out my work and kind of overcoming those things. So I mentioned the Think and Grow Rich mastermind group, and that's something that's really helped me as far as being able to create a plan, actually writing out the steps that I need. So, creating a vision, attaching it to my goal of what I actually want to make, how I'm going to do it, and actually writing down my plan. So, I always tell my clients to write everything down. And sometimes I know, like, we tend to think of things in our mind and actually, just kind of go over it and over it. And so, actually writing it down is really important. So make sure that you're writing your plans out. And for me, one of the things we talked about was actually how to visualize making more money. I know everybody says, oh, I want to make more money. Well, what does that actually look like? And I was wondering, let me ask you, and maybe you can answer in the chat. How do you actually visualize your income? Like, how do you, when you're setting financial goals, what do you actually think of? Do you have a system? Do you have a way to actually determine what you're going to make and how you're going to make it? Do you see images? What is it that you do to actually make money, to actually see that goal? Thanks. Melinda said the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind is really fun and insightful. Thank you. She is part of it. I have a few other friends that are in it. And again, it's really helped me to determine that. But this is one of the things we talked about in the group. I asked the question because I didn't know. I'm very visual. I can attract many things to me. Like, I can visualize, I wanted an exercise bike, and I visualized it. And then I found one outside my apartment. Someone was, moving, and it was brand new. And so now I have an exercise bike with the arms that I wanted. And I can attract things like that. I can do it for decorating. If I want something specific in a place, I can visualize and picture what that is. But I was having trouble picturizing. I made a new word: visualizing and picturing what that looked like in terms of money. So, a big pile of money, like, doesn't really appeal to me. I was like, how do I make this more tangible so I can actually start attracting the income that I desire? And so one thing that I found worked for me was to actually tie it to something. So if I want a house, then I say, like, how much money do I need for that house? And then actually set up, okay, well, I could work with, so many X number of clients and work with them for X number of dollars. And then that means I would make, that much money to get that house. And then I could do that for a car or, whatever it may be, a vacation. And so that is something that is helping me as well. Is, I've always wanted to make an impact. I have made an impact. And so I needed something even more to push me even further in reaching my goals, because I can make an impact for, no money. I was thinking the other day that, Mother Teresa and Oprah both made an impact and are well known, but one did it in poverty and one did it in abundance, and so where do you want to be? And that's how I look at it as well. Is it's okay to make money, and to help people at the same time. It doesn't mean just because you make money that you don't have a heart, or you're not serious about your business, or, really helping people. So I see Chandra has posted something in the chat. You started a business. Congratulations. And as an academic coach, awesome. I met her at the community college, and trying to parlay your experience as a professor. What is the best way to find your customer and who needs you? Okay, that's a great question. So when you're just starting out and you don't know where to find anyone, the first thing you really have to do is actually think about who you want to work with. So instead of just trying to find people that want to work with you, you have to be very clear and define who it is that you want to work with. So I recommend, I'm a pen and paper person, but you can do it in a PowerPoint. You can do it however, but write it down, actually create a client profile, and really get specific about who it is. When I started, I didn't just work with women. I was like it wasn't very long. It was maybe a week or two where I was like, I'll just coach anyone. But then I really, really quickly, I heard it inside myself that I needed to focus on women. But, being specific about gender, it could be location, it could be the amount of money they make as well. Because a lot of times, especially, when you're just starting in business, the mistake is to, be like, I was networking with a lot of people who were starting a business and they didn't have the income to pay for the services. So actually having a amount that they were making is really helpful in that profile, because you need to make money to actually go out and help more people. So you can't just struggle. And so that's something you want to add as well. So, where they live, it could be their gender, it could be something specific. Like, I mean, yours is academic. Is there a specific subject that you're coaching? You can narrow it down, and the more you actually narrow it down, the better it is. And I know, like, when you're first starting out, I know how I was like, are you sure about that? But it really is, because then people know it's for you. So I'll give you an example. When I was going to the networking group, I at first was just saying, I was coaching, but then when I changed it to working with women and helping them build their confidence, this is when I first started out. Then at the end of the meeting, women would come up to me at the end and they would say, oh, my friend needs you, or I need you, or, they knew specifically, because the more specific that I was, then they knew that it was for them. So that's the first thing, is really just defining that client profile, who you want to work with, how you want to work with them. And then think about, where is that person? So if you know that it's, mothers under, around 20 or something, do they also like to work out? Do they go to the gym? Do they, are they at, taking their kids to school and have events in places, that they would be there? So you want to just think about that person and think about where else they already are, so that you can start getting around them. So that's another thing. You want to think, if it's yours is academic, so LinkedIn is probably a good place for them, but you want to think about your social media platforms. Like, you don't have to be on everything, for sure. I can tell you that for sure, because I'm not. But you just want to be in the places that you're comfortable, but then also, where those clients are. So if you have, you're working with seniors who are retiring or something like that, and they're not on TikTok, so you want to just be in line with who you're working with, and then thinking about where they are in that way. And then another just additional tip with that, I would say, is once you do find, even if you just find one place and one person, just then talk to them and ask them, what else do they do? What else do they like? Where are they spending their time? Where are they on social media? What kinds of things, I mean, it could be, some people advertise in magazines, or like, I get a flyer that comes every month in my mailbox where there's, realtors will put their business in there. So just, you have to think about, again, like, thinking about that person and think about their mindset and where they would be in spending their time. So, and feel free to ask a follow-up on that, Chandra, I don't know if I'm answering enough or what you meant exactly, but definitely let me know in the chat if that helped you, and if I can answer any more on that. All right. Robin says, trying to let everyone know you are available. I tried to meet with them with barriers. What do I do? What to do? I'm not sure I understand that question. Trying to let everyone know you are available has been met with barriers. I think I'm not sure if I'm getting this quite right, Robin, but I think if you're trying to say, like, you want to let people know that you have a service and you're out there, I think that might be what you're trying to say. And then, you have barriers. What should you do about that? I think, again, like I said, you really want to make sure that you're in line with who you are trying to serve, first of all. But then, you want to actually, I would say in different ways. Like, you don't want to just meet somebody and the first thing, just give them, sell them your product. Nobody wants to be sold to, they want to know that you care about them first. They want to know that you actually, are passionate about what you do. You're not just trying to make quick money, whatever it may be. I think that's really important. I do a lot of networking and I meet people, and then, they'll take my LinkedIn and then they'll send me, something for their product right away. And, that's not the best way to build relationships. You want to really make sure that you're actually connecting with people, talking to them, getting to know them. I think everyone who signed up on the invite that I had sent out, I spent like an hour or more with most people. A lot of people, even more. But some people, I would spend an hour with them and get to know them and really build that relationship, see who they are, what they're about, what is their business. It's really important to be authentic and to really support each other. It's okay to make an offer. It's okay to share your products and services, but you also want to make sure that you're, giving to the people that you're serving, that you want to work with. If you want them to work with you or to buy your product, think about how you're treating them, and how, instead of just selling to them, how are you serving them? How are you helping them? Are you connecting them to another resource? Are you, sharing a book or sharing another networking group? Are you really out there and just letting them know you're there for them? Are you supporting them when they have events? Are you going to them, or liking them on social media? Are you really involved in helping them? Are you asking them, how can I help you as well? Because, from my experience, most people who start out in business they start connecting with other people in business, and so it's really important to build that network of support. And so, again, as I mentioned earlier, that was one of the things when I transitioned back, from working out of the home and, having a lot of coworkers to working for myself. I was missing that support and had to really rebuild my network, because I'd done a lot of in-person networking. And now, when I transitioned, it was a lot of online networking. And, so really building those relationships and sharing and telling people, how you can help them as well. So I ran a networking support group, and we always shared, I had everybody share what is something you can offer, not your service, not a product, but something that you can just help with. Are you a good listener? Are you good at critiquing? Maybe you can review a website. Are you good at social media and can help somebody set up an account? Just little quick things that are easy for you, but would really make a huge difference in someone who's starting a business. Those are great things to do and to offer, so that you can really get your message out there. And you have to get out there. You have to just put yourself out there. And that's, even that's my challenge, right? That's why I'm doing this big, bold business, right? Because I want you to be taking those big steps. Maybe there's something you've been thinking about, doing to put yourself out there, and it can be scary. So the support of other women, to me, has been the biggest help. So having the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group that, I started for myself, and now I'm offering to other women, that's why I'm sharing it. That's why I'm offering it, is because, we need to support each other to grow. And so in there, we also talk about financial principles, that are covered in the book, but actually taking action and having accountability. It's one thing to just say, oh, I'm going to make a video, or, oh, I'm going to do this. But then are you actually doing it? Are you following through? Is somebody there? With this, I didn't know who was going to show up. And, I asked one person, can you be there? And it might just be two people. I said, I don't know. And, they said yes. And I was like, okay, well, if at least that one person is there, then I know it's good to go, so you don't know, you just have to start, and you just have to try things. You can't, it won't be perfect, even like I said, the streaming thing, I didn't know that I couldn't see everybody. I thought it was going to be like Zoom, where I could be more interactive and see your faces, because, I want that. So next time I know how to do it. So, all right, let's see who else has a question in here. All right, Melinda says, I picture myself working with a powerful team, my team, and brainstorming new ideas and working together and solving problems together. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I think a team is really great. Melinda, you're a great leader. You're great at networking and coordinating, and, you train people. You have so much to offer. You're a leader for sure. And so I love that you're going to do that. And I love how you say you want to work together and solve problems together, because I think a team is really important. And, that's one of the things that I believe is, even though you have your own business, maybe you're a solopreneur, then you still can create a team. you can still create, people that support you, and, you don't have to do it alone. And so that's something, that I keep, telling myself and learning, and just keep building that great support. So I love that. So Melinda, with picturing your team and everything, earlier I was talking about what helps you, with money. Well, this can help with anything, if it's a physical product or if it's just something you want, you can picture that team, picture working with that team. What kind of people do you want? You can create a profile, even though it's not clients and customers, you can do that same thing I said earlier about perfect client profile. Write out a list of the characteristics that you want in your team. Maybe you can have multiple team members too. You could do it for, like, if you want somebody who's really strong, for me, it'd be, I need somebody strong in social media, and I could write out those, characteristics and things like that. And so you could have different client profiles, or in your case, team member profiles as well. And then you can, use the visualizing techniques as well. Think about where those people would be too. Of course, professionals, for you would be on LinkedIn, but think about, what they value. In all business, you want to think about, what are your values? If you don't know that, I would definitely recommend working on that. That's a whole nother thing, that I'm passionate about, is helping women know who they are, what they're good at, what they value, their natural gifts and their purpose. But it's so important to know that, what are you about? What is your brand? And so you want to be in line with your values, and make sure that you're hiring people who are in line with those values, so that's really, really important. All right. I see some other comments. So let me look here. Robin says, I picture myself sharing artwork and books written. Yes, I love it. So when I was at the college, I worked with a lot of students who were, saying, oh, I paint, I do this, but, they thought they had to pick this other profession. And so they'd be, be going to school for nursing or something completely different. And, that's part of a belief system, is like, the poor starving artist and things like that. So, I think it's really important just that you know what you're about, really believe in yourself, believe that you can do it, and then make a plan. It's not just, oh, I want to be famous, I want to, be a writer and author, I want to be, there's some other stuff, influencers, different things that are going out there now. But, just thinking of like, oh, I just want to do this and it's magical, and I just turn on the camera and, everything happens. It's not like that. You really have to make a plan. You have to know what you want, be clear about your vision, clear about your goals, and, follow that plan. And so, I think it's really important that you write it down and not just say, oh, I just want to be this, or whatever it is. Really write it down, make clear steps. They don't have to be hard steps. You can make it, simple. I believe simplify, simplify, simplify. I do believe that is important too, but, just making sure that you have a written plan of how to do that. There's so many free resources too, make sure you're going to trainings like this, that you're taking advantage of anything that you can as far as people sharing their content, because there's tons of it out there. And when I first started, I had zero money, like zero. And I just went to anything I could that was free and learned so much. And then very quickly was able to start teaching other people, they were just starting out. And so, just make sure you're reading books. You see, there's some movies and other stuff there too, but I read a lot of books, listen to stories, talking to other business women or men, that's important too. But just making sure that you're talking to other people who are in business, who are doing what you want to do. If you want to get your books out there, talk to somebody who's already gotten their book out to where you want to be, that level. Reach out to them, make that connection, and really start to develop that relationship and ask them. It's really important to look to people who have gone to the places you want to go, and ask them. And they'll, a lot of people are really willing to help. I help people all the time and answer questions because, I know what it's like. There's so much to learn, so much to do. And so, make sure that you're reaching out though, and really asking. You can, depending on the level of relationship you can build, you could even, I've had students ask, I always tell them, find somebody who's, in that profession, and we connect them, and then have them actually sit down, can you give me 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long they're willing. If they're willing for an hour, hey, ask more questions. But, just make sure that you write down what it is you want to know from them. Like I would recommend, like, what are the hardest struggles? What are the positive points? Things like that. Just asking questions so you can really learn from those people who've done what you want to do. So Grace says, I sent myself a card with pictures and affirmations on it so I can see them every day for visualization. I love it. Yes, and Grace sent me from her send out card business. She sent me one that I have in a frame as well. She made it really beautiful. So I love that. Yeah, I'm very visual too. And she says, taking a picture of yourself in front of your dream car, house, and send it to yourself. I love it. I love it. I love it. Dream boards and vision boards are something else that is really important. And actually, in my Think and Grow Rich offer, I actually added a vision board workshop for free if you join the Think and Grow Rich mastermind group. So you can attend it separate, or you can have it as a bonus with the Think and Grow Rich mastermind. Vision boards are awesome. I made my first vision board when I was probably like 19 years old. I also taught at Parks and Rec and had all the kids do them too. And this was like long before The Secret. This was, just something that was kind of more artistic thing then. It wasn't, all popular to do all this, and so I had that in my dorm room. I had it in my bedroom. I had it, for a long time. And I think it really does help. And then I created another one. When I was working at the college, I had it in my office. And then I used to do tons of vision board workshops there as well, and use it as an example and have all the students make them. And they're so powerful. And when I made that, the last one I made, I made one after that digitally too. So you can make them that way too. But when I made this one that I was referring to that I had in my work office, I didn't know at that time. I was like, well, I just got my dream job. This is what I've been working for so many years. What do I need now? And so actually going through the images and just finding things that I was attracted to was also really helpful. Instead of knowing first and then trying to find pictures, I actually just went through the pictures and just said, what's looking good to me? What stands out? What words do I like? What do I want to add into my life? And so you can do it that way too. And it's really cool. And then the past 2 years, I've done mine digitally. And I love it because I love to look through images. I actually did a PowerPoint with different pages. I did vacations, cards, like the whole thing. And, I use my phone all the time to look through images, definitely. And in the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group, my friend Brenda had a little challenge a couple of weeks ago, and she chooses butterflies, and she said, pick out something for the week that you want to attract. And so she picked out butterflies, and she was finding them everywhere. And for her, that just means she's on the right path. And so I wanted to just do something different. I had been looking at new cars, and so I want to get a Jeep Wrangler is on my list for my challenge as I keep going. And so I have in my phone, I'll just show you here real quick, but I picked out my picture, what I want it, what it looks like. Kind of hard to see here, angle it, but I have different images too. And I look at that and just visualize it. And when I did it for the challenge, I went out and I saw, I think it was 2 on the way there and 3 on the way back. And, and I'll see black ones exactly like it. And, just getting in line with what it is that you want. And you can do that for anything that you want to attract. So I love that, Grace. Thank you so much for the comment there. Aisha. All right. She has a question. How do I create a value proposition that is something I am working on? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by, maybe I just haven't personally heard it in that way. Value proposition. Can you write a little bit more detail in there, Aisha? Just let me know what I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, and I want to help you and I want to answer that. If you could write a little bit more, that would help me. All right. Melinda says, use your network, use the people that you already know. Yes, absolutely. And that's something I know I told Melinda this too. I said, I kind of cut back on some of my networking because I said, I have a lot of people that I know, I need to connect with them more and really serve them, instead of just trying to go out and find more and find more. And, I think that a lot of people do that. I don't, I think there's just this idea of like, oh, I have to find people. Oh, I have to constantly find people. But, sometimes you just have to step back and you just have to be there. I read this great book about attracting perfect clients that he talks about being a lighthouse. And I love this image because instead of trying to run down the beach and, try to find all these customers, just standing there as a lighthouse and just shining your light constantly and just, letting people know that you're there, that can be more effective than trying to run around, then they don't know where you are. Are you over here on, this media? Are you over here now? And where are you? And so instead, if you're just very consistent, that can help you to let people know, they know where to find you. So I love that. And then you already have people. So how are you building and connecting those relationships? I don't know if she's on today, but there's another Melinda that actually does a lot with customer relationships and continuing to build those, the relationships that you already have. So once you meet people and you do your one-on-one and, what do you do from there and how do you continue to build that? So Melinda says, send messages, make a post, letting them know what you're up to, not a pitch, just FYI kind of thing. Yeah. And what you need help with. I love it. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Just not everything, is a sale. It's okay. Again, it's okay to make sales. You're in business. And that's another thing, I want to empower with you is if you haven't made offers, to make offers. I know that, can be a scary thing, but, don't just make an offer to anyone you meet just because it has to be the right timing. And there's a difference between networking and getting to know somebody and, making an offer. So in a sales call. All right. Aisha says, how do I create, kind of running down the comments here. Sorry, give me a second. Great idea. I love it. Chandra says she's taking notes. I love it. That's wonderful. And please, again, it's this is definitely a challenge not seeing you guys because I feed so much off of people and their faces and expressions and really read. So I appreciate the comments and the notes for sure. I really, really do. Thank you so much. All right. And Melinda, thank you as well. Great suggestion. I love it. You guys are helping each other. That's what I love about my network too. I know there's always amazing people. And that's for sure one of the benefits. I know Corey Rudabush, I don't know if I said that right, her last name, but she was mentioning, one of the benefits is the people that I can bring together. She joined the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind. She was like, you always bring great people together. And so that's really important too, is, who you're attracting. And, if you're in line with your values and you're presenting yourself in a way, you'll attract people that are in line with those values and how they present themselves. We talked about the list and your client profile and, making that very clear. Well, that's true in networking too. The energy you put out is what you get back. And, I shared this with Melinda with the networking that, I said, I kind of stepped back for a minute because, I started to attract different things and I was going through a lot of emotions from my job loss and some, other stuff. And so I kind of stepped back a little bit and was like, I knew I wasn't giving up, but just needed to work, on myself and things, I needed to process. And, I was going through a lot of grief that I didn't even realize, happened with that. A lot of times we think of grief and death and, but grief is really loss, and I lost a lot with what I had. I had my dream job. And so, I had all of this network I'd built up for 4 years and client relationships. And, I was really close with my students, with my coworkers. And so that was a big loss. And, so I think some of that energy was, kind of coming out and I was starting to attract things I didn't want. And I said, look, that's not right. Let me check that. So I did, I worked more on myself, but, I did lots of meditation, let's actually talk about habits. Cause I think self-care is really important for anybody, but definitely in business, you're trying to take care of other people, you're taking on a little bit more, and, learning all these new things. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Have a really good routine. I do a meditation in the morning. I work out. I told you I just got the little bike, but before that I was walking. I like to think out ideas. Use that time too to picture what it is that you're trying to achieve that day. Ask yourself, what am I trying to create today? And be very intentional. I have little post-it notes that when I'm doing my bike, I can actually, see those and read the words. And I read out my vision of helping 1 million women to know their gifts and use their gifts and their successful business. And so I have a little statement. It's written out on a little index card, and I read that every day. And then when I'm working out, I'm reading that, or I'm listening to empowering videos. Sometimes I listen to music, and that can be empowering too. But a lot of times I'll listen to affirmations and have those go. Since now I'm, doing a lot with Think and Grow Rich, I'll listen to the audios of that while I'm doing the bike. And so I'm constantly repeating things. It's really important, what you put into your mind is what, comes out. And so you really want to be protective of your mind and what you're actually putting in. What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to on the radio? Who are you listening to in your life? Sometimes relationships change. That was definitely a huge thing for me when, I was in business, because not always are your friends and family the most supportive people, and that's not just coming from me personally. That's from working with, many people over the years, that sometimes the closest relationships that you think might be the most supportive are not. And so, it's really important to find the people who are supportive of you and stick around them and have a group of people. Who are your top 10 people that you in your life that you can call, when something's going on. Make sure that you have that. And if you don't, you can develop it. And that was something, like I said, I found that I needed again, because the people that I'd seen every day, 40 hours a week, were now not in my life anymore. Some of them, of course, I'm still, talk to and things like that, but it's different than them being around me constantly. And so, it's okay to have to find new relationships. You're going to have to let go of things in your business. That is for sure. It could be material things. It could be those relationships, and it could be beliefs. There's a lot of things you have to let go of for sure. So you want to find, what it is that's in your life right now, do a little assessment, and is that in line with the vision of where you're going? If you have that vision board, you have your goals written out, think about that. Who is it that you are? How are you presenting yourself, and what are you going to take with you? So that's definitely something important. For them, as far as like the material things and objects, everything is energy, right? Like, so if you have things in your space that you don't need anymore, you need to let them go. And I did a lot of purging. Like, I went through financial statements, different, so many different things, a lot of like memories. And I cleaned up like photos, like all kinds of things, to really create space for what I was trying to bring into my life. Having a place for what you're trying to bring in, creating that space for what you really desire. And even though you're creating it physically, it could allow you to bring in something emotionally. So it doesn't have to be, in my experience, an even exchange. You just need to allow that space and allow things to come to you. And along the lines of the space, I want to say, setting up your whatever it is, because I know everybody's kind of different, but if you have clients, for instance, or clients or customers, and you're trying to reach a certain amount, you have a number in mind, like Chandra was talking about, doing her academic coaching, if there's a certain number that that you want to fill, whatever it may be for you, then one thing that I did when I was starting out was I actually created my client folders. Had the number that I wanted, had everything ready, had the documents that I send to them, through email, had all of that stuff prepared, so that, somebody comes and I was like, I'm ready, I can send them what it is, that they need. And, just kind of created that space of, this is how many, like chairs, like musical chairs. You just want it, but you want to have enough, spaces and things ready for how many people that you want to have. So that's something that maybe you can use, Chandra. All right. Let's see. Aisha says, same thing in your business as I network, don't try to sell. Yeah, just make sure you're building your relationships. Yep, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you all for the comments and the chat. This is so helpful. I'm just kind of reading along. Where do I go to find community aside from social media? Okay, I do work from home now as an online professor, and my business lends itself to being available on Zoom. But where do you find actual community when you work from home in a silo? Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Perfect question. So, coming to things like this is one. Melinda, would you mind sharing like the HMP? Melinda's very involved in the Happy Neighborhood Project. Grace is as well. That's a great place. That's an online community where you can do networking. You can meet people from all over. So different countries as well, different states, different countries. So there's lots of people, that you can work with, and you can start to build your community that way. And so getting involved, there's definitely a lot of groups. Like I'm part of my own, coaching and marketing programs that I go to for myself. And, but you can do that. You can, I mentioned earlier about the one-on-ones. I think that's so important. You have to build, take time. So you could go to the networking events, HMP. Oh, meetup.com is another great place. That's where I started years ago. I started with that, and I actually run a Women Warriors group on there as well. You can get involved that way and go and do, the online networking. So you can Zoom and you can meet people, and it's great. But you have to do the follow-up. You can't just go there and, say, this is what I do and expect everybody just to, come to you. You have to meet with the people after. You have to build that relationship. You have to let them get to know you, and so it does take longer, than doing, maybe like paid advertising and things like that. That's a whole nother thing, but you're talking about community and support. And so to do that, take time to get to know people. Take time, let people get to know you, share who you are. You have to be very open. That's my experience. Be open, let people know, like, hey, this is what I'm going through, and people will help you. They'll connect with you and they'll support you. Grace and Melinda are two perfect examples right here. I met them through HMP. They both live in different states than me, and they're here on this event, right? And so they're very supportive people, and you'll meet that, but you have to take the time, to talk to them and get to know them and share and give yourself too. So that's really important. And then since you brought it up, so that's one of the reasons I started the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group for myself. So I found that even though I was doing all this, I'm in a coaching program. Oh, I have accountability partner too, right? Like, so I call and talk with her each week, like separate from coaching. This is just somebody going through exactly the same thing as me. We're in the same program, and we're both coaches. We both work with women, like very, very similar, so that we can talk out things, and help each other. So that's another thing. I think you can't get enough support. I think for me, I keep getting, building those friendships, getting, doing the networking, reaching out, doing the one-on-ones, having the coaching programs. But then I still felt like I need even more. I need something else. And so that's why I developed the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group. Now, if you haven't read the book before, I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful book. It's got lots of information. It goes over financial principles, things that, people like Henry Ford and, Thomas Edison, like actually followed. This is old, and proven principles that, you'll hear about it a lot more as you're in the business world and networking, because people will recommend it, and it definitely works. So I developed a mastermind group where I meet with a small group of women each week, and we read one chapter of the book each week, and we implement the steps. And so we help hold each other accountable. Now it's great because you can hear the ideas of other people. So we read it, and then we listen to the audio as well. And so you're getting it again. I listen to it even more, like I said, when I'm working out and whatever, but you're reading it during the week, you're listening to the audio, we're having discussion, and then you're actually implementing the steps. And so that's something that has been the biggest change for me, because I have the women right there each week, instead of, like, oh, you're networking and maybe you see them here, maybe you don't. And, it's kind of hit or miss, but this is committed people to the same group. And so, that's something that I'm offering right now is the group. It's for 16 weeks. So you'd get 16 weeks of me as well as the other women in the group. And you'd be going over those principles, and you'd be getting that support and implementing the steps. So let's see. Because you don't want to feel alone for sure, which is what, that's why I'm sharing that very openly, that, I felt that way, and even though I have relationships, even though I have networking, even though I've been in business before, it's still, it was going through a change and I needed more. And so that's why I'm sharing that for sure. So definitely get support. All right, Aisha, how do I make or create a value proposition for my business? As in why someone should do business with you, why customers buy from me over my competition. Okay. The value proposition can be on the website homepage. Yeah, you can put it anywhere. That's part of, for me, that's part of your brand. Like, what makes you unique, right? Like why do people want to buy from you? People will buy from you for different reasons. Like for instance, for me, I was telling you about, putting your time in and letting people know you care, right? Like if I just went out and, just gave people an offer and had never met with people and never talked to people that are on this call, which most people that I'm seeing in the chat and stuff, I've talked to people, they're just about money, right? Like if you don't let somebody know that you care about them and that you really want to serve them and that you're passionate about them, they're probably not going to buy from you, especially the first time, right? People really need repetition. They need to trust you, and they need to really like you, right? Like they need to know that you care and that you're in line with their values, right? Like those are the people that are going to buy from you, is if you're in line with what they love, right? And so you don't want to manipulate yourself to fit in with them. You want to be very strong about who you are, what you offer, and then connect with them and let them determine that you're in line with the values. So to do that, they have to know what you're about, right? So if you're just at home and you're not on camera, you're not connecting, however it is, you don't have to be big time. It can be one-on-one individual. It just depends on your business, right? But you have to be able to share with them what you're about and let them get to know who you are. And as people get to know who you are, they'll share with other people, right? If they say, "Oh, Aisha has this great business, or product or service, whatever it is," they're going to talk about it, and then they're going to tell other people as well. So that's part of it too. A lot of my first clients were, people I was networking with and got to know. But then as I started to grow, I had a lot of women that I was meeting, and then they would say, "Oh, I really want you to meet my daughter. Oh, I want you to work with my stepdaughter. Oh, I'm going to pay for this for, my daughter." And I would keep getting that, right? Like, and so that became something, because they trusted me. They would recommend who they wanted me to work with. "Oh, you need my friend. Oh, my sister needs you," those kinds of things. And, I would actually meet a lot of men I went to some groups where they were different. There were some groups that were a lot of women just starting out, and those were a lot of the people I could help and bring up. But then I would go to other networking groups where there was men and women, but there was more women than, of course, my women only groups that I was going to. And so they were in business for years, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, you need to talk, I know who you need to talk to," so anybody can refer you once they know who you are and what you're about. So to kind of answer what makes you unique, I don't really know your business without I kind of know your business because we have talked before, but I don't know exactly what you've developed since then, and if you're still in line with it. But if you're still doing I know you were interested in fashion and doing a fashion business. So you want to think about what kinds of clothing, think of brands, like a popular Nike, right? Like when you see the logo Nike, what it means, what they stand for, right? They're athletic, and you think of Just Do It, and it stands out to you, right? Like what it's about. So that's kind of what you want your brand to be, is you want them to know exactly what you stand for. And without you doing the work of knowing what it is, then it's hard to create a brand like that, right? So I would say start with yourself, right? Get to know yourself. What are your values? What is your purpose? What is your brand? What are your gifts? What do you have to offer? So I would definitely say start with yourself, and then apply that to your business. So I know for me, I'm definitely about empowering and encouraging women. That's something that comes through. That's going to be in my products, right? And services. It's just going to be there. And what makes me unique is a lot of different things, but part of it is my experience. I've been coaching for 10 years, over 10 years, where some people are just starting out today, right? So that makes me different. The fact that I have coached in different aspects, right? I've coached as a life coach, I've coached as a career coach, and now I coach as a business coach. I've done a lot of business coaching through the others, but specifically launching business products and services. So that makes me different. My experience, like what I've gone through makes me different. When I started out, I was going through a transition then of not knowing what it is I wanted to do. I felt like I could see it in everybody. Oh, this person's so good at this and that, because one of my gifts is being able to point out what people are good at, to be able to bring out those natural gifts. So I could see that in everybody, and I'm like, but what am I good at, And I was looking at it like trying to choose something outside of me. Like, oh, I have to pick this career. Oh, I have to do this thing that was like outside of me. I'm picking up like almost like a Halloween costume, right? Like, what am I going to put on? What am I going to be? And I think that's how we ask it in society in general. We kind of say like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to be? But, there was things I already was. And that's all I needed was to be myself. I already was a leader. I was already helping women. I had done, I'd run Girl Scout troops, and I've done, worked at the camps and worked with, the parks, and, was always teaching. And, I was doing all these things, right? Like I already was a writer. I already was all these things, but I was thinking I had to like become something different, instead of just putting that stuff together. And so you really just want to look at yourself and, what are you about? What are you passionate about? What are your greatest, strengths that you can use in your business? And to me, that's what's going to set you apart, more than anything, is just really being authentic, knowing who you are and sharing who you are. So I love it. Melinda shared the link for some networking. Thank you so much. And all of her events. Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. You guys are awesome. All right, so cool. Thank you so much. It looks like most of the questions, it looks like the questions are pretty well done here. So I just want to share the link for you in the chat for, if I can do this here. Sorry, 1 second, I'm grabbing it. I do want to share the link, though, for the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind group, where you can get the support. Chandra, you were talking about, Aisha, to answer like the questions, how to put the plan together, things like that, to actually get that. You can, it's not letting me post it. Melinda, can I call on you and ask you to post the link for the mastermind? Because for some reason, when I click on it, it's not allowing me to share it. That would be awesome. Actually, I might be able to. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what. This is the new technical stuff, so hopefully I'm going to try to share my screen real quick. Oh, I can't seem to get it. I'm sorry. All right, we're going to cancel that. But I will share it. Maybe I can share it in the group after, so that you can know. It's a 16-week program. You will actually go over the principles of the book. I added some bonuses as well. So you would get the vision board workshop, and you would also get I did 3 additional coaching sessions for idea generation, implementation, and asking questions. So there's another 3 bonus sessions with me as well that come with it. And you would also, there's some fast acting bonuses too. And so definitely I will add that into the chat so you can check it out and get the support that you need. If that's something that you're looking for, I definitely want to help you. For me, that was the biggest change for sure, was, being able to have that support of other women and be able to talk things out. Because, there is so much, and it doesn't stop, right? Like, just because you start a business and you get experience and you have clients, it doesn't mean that you'll never need that again. You still constantly are needing to learn and grow and try new things. And then, of course, technology changes, and, you want to learn different things like that. Maybe you want to learn how to make a better offer, how your sales pages, putting things together. There's so many questions. For me, the biggest is definitely technology, being able to ask those things. I love to play with it and learn, but, there's so much to it. So you definitely want to do that. I can't see, something's happened. For some reason, it's not, I don't know why I can't share it. I'm sorry, that's not working right now. That's a little disappointing, because I'm really proud of it too. I worked really hard on making it look so pretty. So alrighty. Well, I guess I don't see any more questions in the chat. So I just want to thank you all for being here, for participating, for, commenting in the section. And even, if you didn't comment, I appreciate you being here. And, I'm going to do this again for sure. So I hope you can join. Next time I'll have some specific questions, since some people, it took a little bit, I think, to get going. But I appreciate the questions that you did have. And I hope to see you around. Please reach out if you need anything, and I'm happy to support you. So thank you all so much. Have a great day.